Good evening, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people. Today's April 3rd, 2024. And I want to talk to you about the Devil's Comet, PONS 12P, that is coming to perihelion on April 21st, 2024. It is in our inner solar system right now, and it's going to be closest to the sun on April 21st, closest to Earth on June 2nd. And I want to discuss the four passings of the Devil's Comet since it was discovered in 1812. Okay, so this comet was discovered in 1812, and then it came by again in 1884. It came by again in 1954. And now it is in our inner solar system right now and coming closest to the sun on April 21st. So let us take a look at the Devil's Comet that they're calling the Devil's Comet. PONS, which means bridge. PONS means bridge. Brook means water. So water over a bridge, or a bridge over water. And what do you call a bridge over water? You call it an overpass, or a pass over, a bridge. So let us take a look at this information. And first of all, I want to take a look at 1812. This was the founding discovery of this comet, and it came to perihelion on 15th of September, 1812. What did we see in 1811, 1812? The New Madrid earthquakes were a series of intense intraplate earthquakes, beginning with an initial earthquake of magnitude 7.2 to 8.2 on December 16th, 1811. Followed by a magnitude 7.4 aftershock on the same day. Two additional earthquakes of similar magnitude followed in January and February of 1812. They remain the most powerful earthquakes to hit the contiguous United States east of the Rocky Mountains in recorded history. There has not been another earthquake this big over the contiguous United States since 1811 and 1812. The earthquakes, as well as the seismic zone of their occurrence, were named for the Mississippi River town of New Madrid, then part of the Louisiana Territory and now within the U.S. state of Missouri. 1811, 1812 New Madrid earthquakes. What do we have here coming up? This eclipse that is coming up on Monday, April 8th. We're just a few days away. The X of this eclipse goes right over the New Madrid fault line. This connected to this eclipse coming, but it's also connected to the Devil's Comet from 1812. Okay? So that's the first piece of information. Second piece of information, let's look at 1884, January 25th, 1884. Okay? So as the comet is coming into our inner solar system, what happened in 1883, 1884? The Krakatoa eruption of 1883. The eruption of the Krakatoa volcano in 1883 occurred in the Strait of the Probe in the Dutch East Indies, present-day Indonesia, between the afternoon of Sunday, August 26, 1883. Before that date, another eruption also occurred in May of that same year and reached its cataclysmic point on the morning of Monday, August 27th, when it ended with 70% of the island of Rakata, the island where the main volcano is located, and with the surrounding archipelago being destroyed due to the collapse of a caldera. The eruption was one of the most deadly and destructive events that have been recorded in recent history, with violent explosions that were heard at 3110 kilometers near Perth in Western Australia and near the Mauritius and Rodriguez Islands, 4,800 kilometers away. There were 36,417 deaths, and tsunamis were created due to the eruption. Significant additional effects were also felt around the world in the days and weeks following the volcano's eruption. Additional seismic activity continued until February of 1884. Okay, February of 1884, and the perihelion of the Devil's Comet was January of 1884. So as this comet was coming into the inner solar system, and in our inner solar system, during this time, Krakatoa erupted, and eruptions were taking place until February. And so this was the whole time frame of this this volcano connected to the arrival of the Devil's Comet. Now, for those of you who do not know about Krakatoa, Krakatoa is the loudest sound in recorded history. This came from the volcanic eruption on the Indonesian island Krakatoa at 10:02 a.m. on August 27, 1883. The explosion caused 2/3 of the island to collapse and formed tsunami waves as high as 46 meters, 151 feet, rocking ships as far away as South Africa from Indonesia. Okay? The world's loudest sound. The sound made by the Krakatoa volcanic eruption in 1883 was so loud it was heard up to 5,000 kilometers away. Traveled around the world 4 times and shattered eardrums 50 kilometers away. The loudest sound ever heard on Earth was the Krakatoa volcano, connected to the second passing of the Devil's Comet PONS in 1884. The third passing is connected to 1954. May 22nd, 1954 was the third passing of the PONS Comet. The perihelion event was the 22nd of May 1954. And as I searched this information, I was trying to figure out what happened in 1954, and a friend sent me the information that CERN was created in 1954. I had no idea. CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, is an intergovernmental organization that operates the largest particle physics laboratory in the world. Established in 1954, okay, CERN was established in 1954. The last passing before now of the Devil's Comet connected to the founding of CERN. Now, what is CERN trying to do? This is CERN's website right here. This is what they are saying that they are doing at CERN, okay? They're trying to recreate the Big Bang matter on Earth. This is from CERN itself. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to understand the physics of the Big Bang, and they're trying to see if they can recreate how the universe was formed from the very beginning of time. Talk about a great reset. Now, CERN is set to reopen or to test the world's most powerful particle accelerator during April's solar eclipse to search for invisible matter that secretly powers our universe. April 8th. Okay, so we have this connection from this Devil's Comet connected now to this eclipse at the same time. And we have the New Madrid earthquakes that are the largest earthquakes in the contiguous United States history east of the Rocky Mountains. The New Madrid earthquakes, the eclipse is coming right across the New Madrid fault line. Then we have the largest sound, the loudest sound ever produced on Earth, ever heard. The most deadly and destructive events that have been recorded in recent history, the loudest sound ever produced on Earth, connected to the second passing of the Devil's Comet. And now we have the third passing of the Devil's Comet was the founding of CERN, and they're trying to recreate the Big Bang, and they're set to power up this particle accelerator on April 8th. See how all of this is connected to PONS Brook, the comet that's coming in, plus the time frame of this eclipse together with this. Okay, so is the day of the eclipse, or is the day of the perihelion? Could be one or the other. It could be neither. But let's take a look at April 21st, 2024, because on the Hebrew calendar, April 21st, 2024 is Passover. This is Passover on the Hebrew calendar, the perihelion. April 21st is Passover. Remember what we said about PONS Brook being a bridge, and PONS being a bridge over water. And what do you call a bridge over water? You call it a Passover or an overpass. Okay, an overpass. Is this signaling where we are right now in 2024, leading us to the final perihelion of this comet on Passover? Could be the meaning of the comet. Could be the meaning of the name, PONS Brook. A bridge over water, a Passover, an overpass. Now, Exodus 12, 29 and 30, on the 14th day of the first month of Nisan, it came to pass at midnight, the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all of the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And the second eclipse, not only is it the New Madrid fault line, the exact center point is called Little Egypt. Okay, Little Egypt. And all of this is connected to Passover, to Little Egypt. Okay, now I want to talk to you about a few other things here. I want to talk to you about Obama at Hoover Dam. Obama visited Hoover Dam on October 2nd, 2012. Now, what would you call this dam here? Would you call it a bowl? Would you call it a basin? Would you call it a recipient for a sacrifice according to the Bible? Because if we look at this this dam here as a bowl, okay, and we go from October 2nd, 2012, when Obama, okay, was at the Hoover Dam, and we go to Passover, April 21st, 2024, the perihelion event of PONS Brook, the Devil's Comet, 4,219 days. 4,219 days. Now, 42 is the number of the Antichrist. And 19 is the number of slaughter, like COVID-19, the Antichrist slaughter from the Hoover Dam to April 21st, 2024. Now, if we look at this in the Strong's Concordance, 4219 is a bowl or a basin. And it's used for the sacrifices. Bowl or basin is sacrificial bowls. It's a bowl for wine. It's also used as a ritual in sacrifice, used at the altar. So here we have Obama at a bowl, the birthing ritual that many have foreseen to come, the Hoover Dam. Well, all of this connects us with Passover 2024, the number of the Antichrist, the number of slaughter, and the meaning of 4219 is bowl or basin. Another thing I wanted to show you here is that if we look at April 21st on the Gregorian calendar, okay, on the Julian calendar, it's April 8th. So there's a connection between the day of the eclipse and Passover on the two calendars, okay? And this Hebrew date shows Nisan 13 because during the day it would be Nisan 13. It will not turn Nisan 14 until the evening of April 21st. So April 21st going into April 22nd will be Passover. And on the Julian calendar, it's April 8th. Passover on the Hebrew calendar. So just a few things for our consideration here as we're waiting for the return of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We have a lot of connections to the devil's comet. And we also have connections to the April 8th eclipse. Whether it's April 8th or April 21st, Passover, we have all of these things to consider. And so I just wanted to bring this information to your attention about the history of the devil's comet. This is the fourth passing. Each passing prior to this has been monstrous, monumental, world-changing. How can you explain the greatest earthquake in the history of the contiguous United States, the loudest explosion in the history of the world, and now CERN trying to recreate the Big Bang? Is it all leading us to Passover, PONS Brook, a bridge over water, an overpass, a pass over? I pray you are blessed tonight. This is Steve Fletcher with the trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.